Gardens and people have more in common than you might think. Just as healthy people improve their wellness with the right lifestyle, properly planned and maintained gardens resist disease and pest damage. Successful gardeners avoid many problems by simply planting plants in the correct soil, sun, and moisture conditions. They also organize their gardens thoughtfully, grouping plants with similar water and sun needs in the same planting areas. Pests, like people, have a preference for what they eat. Gardens with a wide assortment of plant species are less susceptible to any one kind of pest, since few insects or diseases attack all varieties of plant life. A diverse garden with a variety of flowering plants not only looks beautiful, but attracts an assortment of beneficial insects. When buying plants, customers can be overwhelmed by the many selections available. Forgetting to check the plant's sun or shade requirement is a common mistake. Ask your customers about the sunlight conditions of the intended planting location. The proper amount of light is fundamental for healthy plant growth. A shade-loving variety that receives sunlight all day long will not survive. Plants requiring full sun will look pale and spindly if planted in a shady location. When recommending plants, try to sell disease-resistant varieties. These can be new hybrids or plants with natural disease resistance. Taking the time to verify that they've made a good choice for the intended planting spot creates a satisfied customer who will return to purchase more plants from your garden center. Creating the right soil conditions is also important for healthy plant development. Many plants require good drainage. Other plants require soil rich in organic matter. Some plants require soil that is more acidic or alkaline than usual. Other plants may tolerate soils that are salty, compacted, or have poor drainage. Inquiring about soil conditions and reminding customers about the special needs of the plants they have chosen is important in developing customer satisfaction. You can also sell the appropriate soil amendment, potting soil, or soil conditioner. Successful gardeners can improve soil conditions and provide the proper nutrition with slow-release soil amendments and with fertilizers like blood meal, bone meal, alfalfa meal, compost, bat guano, aged chicken manure, and many others. Several suppliers offer complete organic fertilizers prepackaged for the customer. Currently popular are the slow-release fertilizers that contain seaweed or kelp. They improve root structure and promote tolerance of temperature extremes. They also result in slow, even plant growth and minimize tender top growth that attracts aphids and other pests. On the other hand, applying too much fertilizer can cause problems. Excess fertilizer on lawns can cause burned grass. High nitrogen fertilizers make grass look impressive for a while, but can produce more top growth than the roots can sustain. This allows the grass to become stressed and more susceptible to disease. Notice the 3 numbers on the fertilizer bags and boxes. The first number indicates the amount of nitrogen in the fertilizer. The second number indicates the amount of phosphorus in the form of phosphate. The third number stands for potassium, sometimes called potash. Sell your customers fertilizers with balanced numbers rather than ones with high nitrogen numbers. Even better, recommend slow-release fertilizers that promote slow, even growth. Improper watering can inhibit growth and cause water-related disease. Overwatering, a common mistake of novice gardeners, can cause leaf discoloration, root rot, leaf drop, or fungal growth. Soil moisture meters are one of the most useful items you can sell to gardeners. Moisture meters indicate when plants need more or less water. Lawns are commonly overwatered. This is wasteful and can promote lawn diseases. Many factors determine how much water a lawn needs. These include the type of grass, the amount of light the lawn gets, heat, humidity, wind, clouds and fog, soil conditions, thatch, and slope. It's important to get the water down into the root zone, where the grass plants can use it. Encourage your customers to check the soil moisture and adjust their watering accordingly. Deep watering, and watering early in the day, conserves water by minimizing evaporation and encouraging deeper root growth, resulting in a healthier, more durable lawn. Integrated pest management, or IPM, is a common-sense approach to pest management that uses a combination of tools and tactics, including barriers and other physical techniques, predatory insects, and fewer, less toxic pesticides to control but not completely eradicate pests. Time, patience, and natural weather cycles take care of many garden problems. Aphids dry up in hot weather, and spider mites are around for only a few short weeks during the summer. Cold weather kills many other damaging pests. Wise gardeners avoid using pesticides by tolerating some pest damage. Gardeners may not need to spray for unsightly holes in fruit and vegetable leaves if the crop is undamaged and ready to be harvested. The same holds true for the ornamental garden. A lush and attractive setting effectively hides a few unsightly leaves. Using pesticides in the garden may inadvertently poison bees and other pollinators, as well as predators that feed on pest insects. These are called beneficial organisms because they assist the gardener by pollinating flowers or serve as predators that kill, eat, or parasitize many of the unwanted insects. If we spray the whole garden for bad bugs, the beneficial insects die too. Help your customers learn the difference between the beneficial bugs and the harmful ones. Remind them that ladybug larvae are beneficial to the garden, even though these ugly creatures bear little resemblance to the colorful ladybugs they eventually become. Gardeners admire the delicate adult lacewing with its translucent shimmering wings. However, it is the larval stage of the lacewing that eats the whiteflies, aphids, and mites. Other beneficial insects include ground beetles, dragonflies, mini wasps, syrphid flies, and beneficial nematodes. When gardeners step back and give nature a chance, a natural balance evolves. By not spraying insecticides, gardeners allow natural predators to enter the garden. This may be the hardest IPM concept for your customer to understand. Most people don't like bugs crawling on their plants, but they should understand the role of any insect and determine whether it is harmful or beneficial before trying to eliminate it. When plant disease or pest damage occurs, know how to recognize and properly remedy problems using environmentally friendly IPM methods.
Hi, I want to introduce you to two books that can help you give your clients pest management information and also provide you with information on least toxic pest management methods for pests. These are Pests of the Garden and Small Farms for pests of vegetables and fruit trees, and Pests of Landscape Trees and Shrubs for ornamental trees and shrubs. Each of these books has hundreds of pictures of pests, not only the pictures of the pests themselves, but bug boxes telling you about what size the pests are, plus lots of pictures of natural enemies and life cycles. It covers insects. The books cover pathogens and diseases, as well as weeds that people might find in their gardens. University of California is a good source of information on pest problems. You can look at the web page at www.ipm.ucdavis.edu or go to your county cooperative extension office. They have other publications and information. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to identify pest problem. When a customer comes into the shop and they bring perhaps some leaves like this, they may have big spots, they may have little spots. What are you going to do if you don't recognize the symptoms right away? One thing you really need to do is you need to have a hand lens so you can look at things close up. Also, you need to know what the species of plant is in order to properly diagnose it. There are many, many pests out there. The only way to narrow them down effectively is to identify the plant species. We do know that these leaves are sycamore leaves, and by knowing that, we can go into the back tables of this book and look under sycamore. When we get to the sycamore section, there's more than 100 different plant species here, each with a dozen or more pests that may occur on that plant species. We go down here and we see yellow, then brown spots. That's these little spots here, and then also this bigger spot is identified as a different disease, anthracnose. We can go to the page here, page 130, that describes the little yellow spots. What that is it's sycamore scale. We can compare the symptoms on our leaves to the leaf pictures in the book, and then yes, indeed, this is the sycamore scale. You'll need to use your hand lens to see the little scales underneath in the spots, and you can find out how to manage this pest by reading this section of the book. Same kind of tables are available in Pests of the Garden and Small Farm for vegetables and fruit trees.
Integrated pest management methods control pests the less toxic way. An example of a physical IPM technique is bird netting or removable fencing to keep out birds. Row covers, used for a few weeks on top of newly planted seedlings, keep out birds and insects such as aphids, while letting in light and water. Snails and slugs can be a problem, but some traditional poisons have also killed cats and dogs. 3-inch wide copper tape is an effective snail and slug deterrent. The copper discharges a very small electrical shock that repels the tiny animals. Bending the tape over will stop the few snails or slugs that span the tape. Sluggo and escargot are other products that manage snails and slugs, yet are safe to use around larger animals. Sticky traps work well both as monitors and as management tools. They rarely eradicate a pest population, but may reduce the number of pests to a tolerable level or reveal the severity of the infestation. The sticky traps that attract insects to a bright color and trap them on a sticky substance are preferable to those with impregnated poisons. They are available in a large variety of sizes and shapes, from small stakes that can be placed in houseplants to larger traps suitable for trees. Some sticky traps are coated with chemicals that attract pest insects from the surrounding area. They are especially useful in attracting and capturing flying insects such as yellow jackets. One of the simplest pest control tools to sell your customers is a hose nozzle. A sharp spray of water can wash off aphids, mealybugs, and other small insects. Those that don't die from the water spray have a good chance of being eaten by ground-feeding predators. Many home gardeners spray herbicides for weed control, but there are effective alternatives. A garden hoe is a great way to manage weeds while they're still small and before they have set seed or sent out runners. A layer of landscape fabric covered with mulch, stone, or bark chips will suppress weed growth. Corn gluten meal is a non-selective, pre-emergent herbicide, killing anything that tries to grow from seed. If applied to an established lawn, it will kill all emerging weeds, like these dandelions, without harming the existing grass. If corn gluten meal is placed on a path, it will prevent any plants from sprouting. In a flower bed, it won't hurt existing plants, but it will suppress the development of any new seedlings. Insectary plants are those that attract beneficial insects. These plants have flowers rich with pollen and nectar to feed beneficial insects, and have flowers with flat heads that provide wide grazing areas for these insects. Examples of insectary plants that have this feature are most of the daisy-type flowers. They make it easy to land and also provide pollen. Other insectary plants have shallow throats or small flowers that appeal to tiny beneficial insects. These include snapdragons, penstemons, salvias, sweet alyssum, calendula, yarrow, poppies, and sunflower. Some beneficial insects, like green lacewings, require insectary plants to feed the adult stages, while the larvae feed upon the pest insects. Without insectary plants, adults can't survive or produce more young to continue the feeding cycle. Encourage customers to include these types of flowering plants in their gardens. Doing so will draw beneficial insects that will reduce the population of problem insects. All of these methods, physical techniques, good gardening practices, and the encouragement of natural predators, are elements of integrated pest management. These methods can go a long way toward keeping the pest problems of your customers at a manageable level and reduce or eliminate the need for chemical pesticides and herbicides. For more information on how to control specific pests in the home without the use of toxic pesticides, please watch video number 3, Home and Garden, Pests and Problems. To review pesticide history and the basics of integrated pest management, go back to video number 1, Understanding Pesticides and IPM.